This is Pete's podcast number 4, and this is Peter Liciaga. And actually, this is number 16,026. Every day I write down a number, and that number represents how many days that I have until I reach my 100th birthday. So those of you that know me know that my grandfather lived till he was 98, and my goal is to live to 100 just to spite him, and it's all a fun thing that he and I have together. And he was fit, and he says that he was always better looking than me, and so we would have this banter back and forth. So it was always pretty cool. So anyway, I told him that I would live to 100. Based on the advice and tips that he gave me. He gave me 2 pieces of advice: to always be a student, always learn, and never stop moving. And so I told him that I will not only do that, but I will do jiu-jitsu, I will do martial arts, which he did not do. And because of that, I can live to 100. So just to spite him, I'm going to do that. And so I have 16,026 days left till I reach my 100th birthday. So that's that number. And I write that number down every day on my journal. And I take one day off. Of course, tomorrow will be 16,025 days left. But other than that, guys, I hope you are having a great day. I hope you're embracing today. I just finished doing running. I had a banana, I had my water, and I'm ready to share with you things that I want to share today with you in this week's podcast. A lot has happened since the last podcast, a lot of exciting things. Now, I have my glasses on so I can read. So pardon me for the reflections. I hope you don't mind. But I know some of you parents, some of you guys out there, people out there get it. Okay, as you get older, you lose your sight. I actually had 20/20 until I was about 36. And about 36 years old, I started seeing that I wasn't seeing things as clearly. So here I am at 56 with my glasses and feeling good, looking good even with my glasses. And I know I ought to be in Hollywood, but I'm here chatting with you guys from my home in South Jersey. So anyway, let me tell you what I'm going to talk about today. A couple of things, 3 things. And the first thing is I'm going to talk about 10 things that I suggest that you can do to create an emotionally and physically safe environment for your child. I've been speaking to parents. Of course, that's what I do as a martial arts instructor at Dinoto Karate Center. I speak to parents daily. I speak to kids and children and teens and young adults daily. We're always talking about what do we need to do to be safe emotionally and physically. So I will share 10 things that I suggest that you do to create an emotionally and physically safe environment for your child. After that, I want to talk about the history of belts in martial arts and the ranking system in martial arts. On this Saturday, we're having belt promotions at the Dinoto Karate Center, and I wanted to share a little bit of the history of belt promotions and the belt ranking system that we do at Dinoto Karate Center, and just give you a bit of a background on that and how that came about. Okay, and then after that, I'm going to look at a book that was written by a Navy SEAL called Jocko Willink. As a gentleman that I follow, and he has a podcast that I follow, and I follow all his books. He wrote a book called Extreme Ownership that I've purchased and I've shared and I've read. Powerful book. But he also wrote this book about, it's called The Way of the Warrior Kid. And it's for kids, great for kids and parents. And it's about little Marc, who is in 5th grade, and he has some life challenges in 5th grade, and he shares about how he overcomes these challenges. And one of those challenges, of course, being bullied by Kenny. Kenny is the king of the jungle gym, and Kenny is bullying Marc. And also Marc is experiencing some failures in fitness, and he's being ridiculed at school, and he wants to overcome that. And his uncle Jake helps him with that. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit from that book later on in a few minutes from this podcast. So with all that being said, let's begin. Let's get right into this question I want to ask parents. Does your child feel emotionally and physically safe wherever they are? And let's start with home. Do they feel safe there? So there are things that I want to share with you, that I want to suggest, 10 things that you can do starting at home. And maybe these are things that you can look for in places that you may register your child in, any organization, whether it's soccer, baseball, or a karate school, martial arts school. Maybe you want to register your child in these groups, these places. That these are things that you might want to look for in these organizations, that they within the organizations are implementing, so that your child can feel emotionally and physically safe. Okay, let me just start off with sharing a story that I had the other day, which is why I decided to share this today. The other day, I was starting class, and I was sharing with the karate class to kids what we're going to do in that day. We were going to do, forms and review for our upcoming belt promotion, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and that they were going to do great, that they're all winners, and they're winners because they showed up to class, and they're going to be awesome. And while I was sharing this, one child just whispered loudly that I'm a loser. I'm not going to win. I'm a loser. And I heard him say that, and it wasn't clear. I was I was a little bit taken aback by it. It rocked my world a bit to hear this. And I said, wait a minute, what did you say? He says, I'm a loser. And I just paused a bit, and I went, and I didn't want to respond to him directly and put him on the spot, because I could see that he was very emotional and upset about this reality, his reality. And so I redirected and stayed on track by saying, well, kids, you know what? We're all winners. I'm glad you guys are here today. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So anyway, I proceeded and gave my little spiel, get them pumped up and motivated, had them went ahead and get ready to get some lines. And while the kids were getting ready to get on these lines, I went to this one child, and I went to him. I said, what do you mean that you're a loser? He says, well, I'm told that I'm a loser all the time. I'm a loser. And I told him right then and there that you're not a loser, that you're here, you're a winner. I said, are you willing to do your best? He goes, yeah. I said, are you willing to do your best and never give up? He says, yeah. I said, you're a winner. I said, today, right now, you're a winner. But I walked away. He got on track. He had a great class. I reframed his mindset for the moment. But it really stopped me in that moment to think about the value and how important it is, the work that I'm doing, being an instructor, teaching kids and pouring into kids and sharing with kids and having these very small moments and planting these seeds and watering these seeds and letting these kids know, and really helped me to understand that it's important that I create this environment that kids can come in, people can come in and have to know that they're going to be safe emotionally and physically. And so I wanted, and this is why I'm sharing 10 things that you can do. And I have my notes here. Let me go ahead and share that with you. And number one thing, these are 10 things that I suggest that you do, or at least look for, to create an emotionally and safe environment, physically safe environment for your child. The number one thing is get to know your child. Be aware of how they're feeling and look at their demeanor, look at their body language, and really get to know your child. And get to know your child by watching them, listening to them. I know this is a given. We all know this, but this is number one. And this is a reminder. A lot of things I'm going to share with you guys are reminders for us parents that we need to take the time to get to know our children, to get to know how they're feeling for that day. When after they've come back from school or done an event, ask them how did it go. And I know most kids would just say good. I ask my children, and I say, okay, how are you guys doing today? How was school, or how was this event? They'll say good. And I'll probe a little bit and ask some questions that I'll listen to the answer, but more importantly, I'll look at their body language. Then I'll get to know them. And there's different ways we can do to get to know our children, but get to know your child. Number two is this. Provide frequent positive feedback to your child. Let your child know that they are doing a great job, they're doing a good job, And just them putting effort behind what they're doing is good, is great, and you're proud of them. Now, can they do better? We can all do better. At our best, we can always do better. But if we are doing our best and giving effort, let's recognize that and appreciate that, and recognize that in our children. Let them know, give them that positive feedback, and tell them that you notice their efforts, that you appreciate their hard work, their effort, and then praise them. Let them know that you appreciate them. Praise is a powerful tool, powerful motivational tool that you can impart on your child. So please do that. That was number 2. Number 3 is admit when you don't know something. It's powerful to let our children know that we are human, that we make mistakes. We don't know everything. I remember with my children, they would always, when they were younger, they said, well, Dad, why this? Why that? What about this? What about that? And if I don't know, I usually would tell them, you know what? I know a lot of things, but I don't know that. Hey, let's go and find out about it together. So at that point, we would go to the encyclopedia, we'd read about it, or we'd go online, Google search it, go to Wikipedia and get some information about it. And I would then together with my children learn. But it's important to let them know that we don't know everything, but we know where to go to get the answer. And it's okay if we don't know everything. And let them know that. Number 4 is make it clear that everyone in the home, everyone in the house is to conduct themselves in a respectable way, respectable manner. Treat each other with respect, and then respect each other's property, and make that consistent, and let you be the model of that, which brings us to number 5 is discipline. Make discipline about accountability and growth instead of punishment. If someone does not do the right thing, if they misbehave, your child misbehaves, give them a place where they can go and cool off and think about it, and then have them reflect about what they did and how unacceptable that behavior is, and then help them to really look for options, other ways that they can express themselves, that they can handle the situation much better, and commit. And help them to commit to taking actions next time so that they can make sure they do not do the same behavior, that it will not happen again. That's number 5. Number 6, moving on, laugh. Have fun, enjoy. Laugh with your child. Laughing and having a sense of joy and appreciation for life and the moments, and learning, embracing learning lessons, is important. Laugh with your child and let them know that life is or doesn't always have to be serious, and nor do we. Things will happen. Things happen. We make mistakes. Your children will make mistakes. It's part of life. It's part of how they're going to learn. It's part of developing wisdom. And if we can laugh along the way, that's a powerful thing. So a lot of, I know things get tense, crazy. There'll be upsets. You'll make mistakes, fall on your face. Kids will do some dumb things. I'll do some dumb things. We will do dumb things. But if we can still show that we can laugh through it, and once we get past the upset and we stop and reflect and let our kids know we can laugh about it. We learn from it, we laugh about it, and we move on. That everything's going to be okay. Life goes on. There's a new day tomorrow. There's a new moment that we can just right away say, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. I messed up. I'm going to learn from it. Now let's laugh and move on. So that's very important. Number 7 is this. Take every opportunity to model and be a real model of discipline, a model of humility, and then be a model as parents that are patient. And we have to know that life does go on. We make mistakes, and let's be humble, and we don't know everything. And yes, we will feel the tension inside, but let's manage that. Let's discipline ourselves and show that discipline, that control, that self-control, self-discipline, and then let's show patience. And know that they'll notice that. They'll see that. And they'll learn from it. That's powerful. Number 8, moving on, finishing up. Keep the vibes in your home, or everywhere you go with your family. Keep it positive and keep it good. Okay, children, no matter how young they are, they know when we parents are not happy. They know when we're upset. They feel it. They sense it. Even when we put a smile on our face, they'll sense there's something just not right. So joy can be contagious. This sense of joy is very contagious, but also misery can also be contagious. So get disciplined. If we're feeling ourselves getting upset, maybe what will help is that we maybe get listen to positive messages, maybe listen to a podcast that's positive, or watch a program that's positive. Take some time to maybe take an hour or two to just go off, maybe to a cafe, to step out, take a walk, and reflect, and to do your best to reignite that flame of joy that you have, knowing that life is short, and that we have these valuable moments with our children in our life, and let's take advantage of them and come back as a parent that's excited about sharing your knowledge, sharing your life with your children, and get out of that slump. Okay, that's important. Keep the vibes good. Number 9, wrapping it up, do everything you can to make your physical environment of your home as comfortable, as positive as possible, as cheerful as possible. You can do that by pictures around the house, sayings around the house. And I know my wife has all these great positive sayings around the home. And as she's cleaning, she always has positive music going on in the background. And the programs that we watch, we do the best that we can, that we mitigate, we manage on the programs that we watch. If I'm going to watch a program that has to do with very intense emotions, I make sure I watch it on my own, or prepare my kids, say, hey, this program is about this. So we prepare them for the program, but we really do the best that we can to make sure that our home is a positive environment, that they can feel safe. And we really go out of our way to do that. Positive messages and making sure that they see it around the home. Okay, the conversations are as positive as possible. When there's an upset, we deal with it in a positive, productive, and progressive way. That's where it leads to resolution. And then we strive for peace in the home. Okay, number 10, last, but I'm sure that you guys have others that you can contribute. You can always contribute that, but here's mine. Last one, remain calm and at peace at all times. Be the calm in the storm. When all is going crazy, strive to be that parent that is calm and that is at peace. That you see what's going on, you step out of it, step back, and you take a breath and be at peace. And once a parent loses it, it takes a while to rebuild that feeling of safety and that feeling of trust that the parent, the mom, the dad, can deal with stressful situations, that if they make a mistake, they fall on their face, they really screw up, that it's okay, that you're there, that you will help them, and that you will not lose it, but that you will help them through this learning moment. Okay, and so you may have to step outside. You may have to have a high level of awareness of your emotions and feel yourself getting red in the face, your heart beating fast, and you're getting frustrated. Take a breath, take a moment, step outside, breathe, calm down, and then come back in and start over again, and then engage and look for resolution. It'll make a difference. Okay, guys, so those are my 10 suggestions to create an emotionally and physically safe environment at home. And if you notice, not one of those suggestions was physical punishment. If there's going to be anything physical, hugs. Embrace your children. Let them know how much you love them. I love it with my son. I started this a long time ago. I hug my son, but a lot of times I'll take his head like this, and he and I have this headbutt thing that we just press heads. And I saw that with warriors. And I think Maui warriors, and that's how they would greet each other, by just pressing their foreheads together. And my son does that to me, and so you find the physical, and that helps create that safe environment. So my daughter, we embrace, and we'll kiss on the cheek and all that, and physical, but you want to create that safe environment. Okay, so. That's that. Moving on, let's talk about it. I'm excited about this. And this week we have belt promotions at Dinoto Karate Center. We do that 4 times a year, every 3 months. And the kids work hard. Our students work hard, doing their best, meeting the requirements that they must demonstrate for their next belt. And so, I wanted to talk about belt promotions and the reasoning behind belt promotions and the history. Now, let me go ahead and read. I went to Wikipedia, and I wanted to share what it said there in Wikipedia. When you do a Google search on that, you'll come up with one of the search on the top of the search is from Wikipedia. And this is specific to Tang Sudo. Tang Sudo is the martial art that we teach at Dinoto Karate Center. Tang Sudo Mudokwan. It was also at one time can also be called Sobak-do Mudokwan. And it says here, let me go to Wikipedia right now. Tang Sudo uses the colored belt system that was instituted by Judo's founder, Jigoro Kano. And it was popularized in Karate-do by Genshin Funakoshi. So these are 2 big names in the martial arts world. Okay, I remember when I started martial arts, these names just were always mentioned. And so these are huge names. And so moving back to Wikipedia says, however, minor deviations according to organization and or individual school are common. And most individuals, instructors, once you get to a certain level and you wanted to start teaching martial arts, you would then take what you've learned and find a way to teach it to your students. And then you would structure it and say, okay, you know, from my experience, I think you need to learn this first. You create this structure, and you make some minor changes to it. This way you adapt it because you realize through your students, when you're teaching, that you found that they learned it faster this way, they got it this way, and they learned this first. So there were some deviations. So that's common. You'll see that over the decades. You see that at DKC. If you look at our history, we've been in Mount Laurel since 1993. So we've been around for a while, but if we've had students that have come back from then and they look at our structure of the class today, and it's almost like, gosh, it's so different from when they first started. So we adjusted and we improved it, made some upgrades, and found better ways to share the knowledge so that people can retain it and apply it so that it can be useful to their lives. So there were some deviations. So back to the article here. One differentiation characteristic of the Mudokwan style, that's a Tang Sudo style that we teach at Dinoto Karate Center, is that of the black belt. The black belt. You notice that our black belts are midnight blue. Okay? Not black, even though we refer to our black belts as black belts, but they're actually midnight blue. So let me go on to this article. And it's in our system is midnight blue for students who attain the Dan rank, the Dan levels, the black belt ranks. The reason for the midnight blue is the belief in Korean culture that black symbolizes perfection. Let me repeat that. Black in the Korean culture, and we are Korean martial art. Tang Sudo is a Korean martial art. The creator is Korean. Grandmaster Won Ki. The master of the Grandmaster of Tang Sudo Mudokwan is Korean. His dad is Korean, who is the creator. Okay, and black to the Koreans symbolizes perfection. So back to the article, as no one is perfect, the belt for Dan rank, the black belt ranks, is midnight blue in color. It was also a belief of the founder of Budokan, which was Grandmaster Wan Ki, that black is a color to which nothing can be added. So thus blue signifies that the black belt holder, the Dan level holder, is still learning knowledge, sharing and being a student, constant, never-ending student. So the midnight blue represents that it's not black, you're not perfect. Midnight blue represents that you are a student at a beginner level, first degree black belt student, and you're going up the levels as this student in Tang Sudo, constant and never-ending learning, a constant student. This is a lesson that I learned from my grandfather, Grandpa John. Okay, his 2 tips, right? 2 tips was keep moving, always be a student, constant, never-ending learning. So midnight blue represents that. Okay, now going on back to the article about about belts and the belt ranking system. Many schools and organizations still opt to use the black belt. Tang Sudo at Dinoto Karate Center, we incorporate the midnight blue to show that you have reached the black belt level. Now, we have a red stripe midnight blue that shows master level. So if you look at Master Dinoto's belt and my belt, and now Master Klein's, Master Patrick, any master at Dinoto Karate Center, our belts are midnight blue. In the middle of it, there's a red stripe. Okay, and so that's the belts that we wear. Okay, now moving on. Okay, the original non-Dan or GUP, the color belts established by Wan Ki, Grandmaster Wan Ki, the Grandmaster of our system, were white, green, and red. And in the 1970s, we're talking history now, guys, giving you the history behind this. It is important because I'm going to explain our belt system at Dinoto Karate Center, but history is going to give you a good idea of how we came to have the belts that we have today. Okay, in the 1970s, back to the article from Wikipedia, in the 1970s, an orange belt was added after the white belt. So we had, what did we have? We had white belt in the beginning. Okay, we had white belt, we had green belt, and we had red belt. That's 3 belts. Okay, then you had the midnight blue, so 3 color belts. And then in the 70s, 1970s, they added an orange belt after the white belt. And then along with 1 or 2 stripes on the orange. So they had started adding stripes on the belts. So they went from 3 color belts before you got your midnight blue black belt, so to speak, Dan level, 3 color belts to 4 color belts, and then he started adding stripes, 2 stripes, okay, on the orange, green, and red belts, and the white belt as well. And then that was 10 GUP levels, 10 belt, not belt, I would say belt, GUP levels of beginner students going through these levels before they got to the black belt level, the Dan level, the midnight blue level, okay, showing a level of accomplishment. And there was 10 levels. And it is currently the system in use by Budokan at that time. Now, in the mid-80s, a yellow belt was placed between the white belt and the orange belt. And then, of course, many variations over the years were employed to add colors like yellow. You see gold now. You see brown, purple, and blue. And this basically is a Western mindset. So that gave you some history. Let me now talk about, with all that being said, at Dinoto Karate Center, if you look at our belt ranks, our belt racks, when you come into our school, you'll see our belt racks. We have 2 belt racks up on the wall. One are white belts, all white belts. In the middle of the white belts are colors, starting with yellow, then gold, then orange, green, and so forth, all the way up through to the white belt that has the black stripe in the middle. And then on the other side, the other rack, you will see the white belt with the black stripe in the middle. Then you'll see the solid yellow, solid gold, solid orange, green, all the way up through to half black and half red belt, which is our belt that you get right before you get your dawn level, your quote unquote black belt, which is what color? Right, midnight blue. And we do not have a rack for that. And we are looking at putting a rack up so that students, because we got a lot of black belts, quote unquote, that would love to see a rack that shows the different dawn levels and master levels. Like, for example, I just tested for and will be receiving this Saturday my 6th degree black belt or master belt, my midnight blue belt with the red stripe in the middle. And Master Klein tested and passed and has earned his master belt. So he'll be getting midnight blue with the red stripe in the middle. Master Dinoto is currently testing and training for his test for his 7th degree master level. So he will be having the midnight blue belt with the red stripe straight down the middle and have 7 stripes on that. So it's pretty awesome. So I'd love to have that rack up there with all the dawn levels and then the master levels. So really give students a perspective of the different levels that there are. Okay, and to wrap this up, this segment, I know this was helpful to a lot of you, because a lot of you ask me about the belts and what's up with the belt and all this. And so with all that being said, I had some thoughts here, my final thoughts on belts. Okay, and it's this. Okay, your belt rank is nothing more than an opinion of your instructor as to where you are in your martial arts training in accordance to the standards that Master Dinoto at Dinoto Karate Center has put into place at Dinoto Karate Center. So we have standards, we have guidelines. I have to emphasize guidelines. And they're not rules and set in stone because everyone's different. These are guidelines. And we use a rotating curriculum, and based on those guidelines, okay, you will get your stripes and you will get your belts. So when somebody walks into our academy or you come into our school, we look at your belt around your waist. We know where you are as with respect to your journey to dawn levels to black belt, which is what? Midnight blue. That's right. So there is no entitlement to receiving your black belt. Okay, you could be spending a lot of time on the mats training hard, but you are not entitled to be given that belt. That belt is given based on your instructor's evaluation of you individually, uniquely you, and the work you've put in on the mats, and then they compare to who you are in that moment to where you were yesterday, the day before yesterday, all the way back to the first day you start. So your instructor, I know, I look at you, and yes, there are stripes, it's time-based, this way everyone's goal-oriented, but I will look at you, I will look at your rank, and I'll look at your discipline, your attitude, and that tells me whether you're ready for black belt or not, with respect to where you started in your journey to that black belt. Okay, does that make sense? And of course, it generally takes about 3 to 5 years at Dinoto Karate Center. Other systems takes more or less. I know most martial arts schools takes 3 to 5 years, with the exception of jiu-jitsu. For some reason or another, jiu-jitsu takes a lot longer. It takes as long as it takes. I know with jiu-jitsu, I started jiu-jitsu in 2010, and jiu-jitsu right now currently has, in the adult ranks, has 4 belts. You have the white belt, you have the blue belt, you have the purple belt, the brown belt, and then you got the black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm a blue belt. Okay, high rank blue belt. I got 4 stripes. There's 4 stripes. I have 4-stripe blue belt. My next belt is purple, but where I started in 2010, my journey of jiu-jitsu, and here we are, 2017, 7 years. So it's hard work, but I'm not entitled to the belt. I just show up, train, and that's it. It's up to my instructor. Okay, so keeping that in mind, the end of the day, you simply train hard. Show up, do your best, train hard, be disciplined, and that's it. Show up and train. Show up and train. Great. Okay, let's move on, guys. I'm excited. I want to share with you a book that I think is pretty cool. I was talking to some of the parents yesterday about this book that I have from a gentleman who's a retired Navy SEAL, and he's making a lot of noise on the internet with, first he came out with his book, Extreme Ownership, and decided to do a book for kids. He has 4 kids, and he decided to write a book about bullying. And he just felt that it was not, there were things out there that he felt like that he can add to this conversation, and through his filter as a Navy SEAL. And so he wrote this book, and as soon as I heard that he was writing it, he gave us the opportunity to right away to sign up to and purchase it before it was even finished, and I actually did that. So I actually got the book before it was available to everyone, but it's now available to everyone. So you can actually go to peterliciaga.com/warrior kid and purchase it. But I wanted to share that with you. There's a chapter in it that I'm going to share with you and read that, and I think it's pretty cool. And the chapter is called Discipline Equals Freedom. And again, the book is about little Marc, who's a 5th grader. And it starts off with him coming to the end of the school year, getting ready for summer, like now. Okay, right now, our kids are getting ready for summertime. They're finishing up. And he's had a horrible year, very challenging year. And, from not being able to do the fitness challenge, going on a field trip where he couldn't swim, and they were making fun of him with that. And he couldn't do pull-ups, so they were making fun of him on that. So he wasn't good at push-ups. He physically was very weak, and they were making fun of him with that. And then there was this kid, Kenny, the bully. Kenny, who was a big guy, very tough, and Kenny was and referred to himself as King of the Jungle Gym, who gave Marc a hard time. And so you'll read about this in the books. Very exciting, great read, very easy read. Where's that book here? And Kenny finds out that his dad, not his dad, but his mom's brother is going to come and spend the summer with them. And her brother, Uncle Jake, is a Navy SEAL. And he's coming out, spending the summer with his family, staying there, and will be starting college at the end in the fall. And so Uncle Jake is going to spend the summer. So he spends some time with Uncle Jake, and Uncle Jake is going to help him out. So in this chapter 12, and I suggest getting the book. It's a lot of fun reading it. And what I'm going to do is I want to read it. I want to read chapter 12 for your kids. So this is great. Great. Have your kids maybe listen to this. And if you're watching this on audio, have them watch this. So let me read this. And it's only a couple of pages. Okay, it's a lot of fun, and I know you guys will enjoy it. Okay, and so it's chapter 12. Okay, discipline equals freedom. Starts off early in the morning. He's quiet. Marc is asleep. He spent the day before working hard. Jake's been working him out. Working them out hard. They've been getting at it. Getting up early, working hard. Pull-ups, all that fun stuff. And it starts off with beep, 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 beep. Whoa. My morning alarm clock blasted in my ear. I listened to it for a few seconds, and then I reached over and hit the snooze button. That felt so good. I just didn't feel like getting up. I wanted to sleep. I closed my eyes and comfortably faded back into a deep sleep. In the distance, though, I heard the door open, just as it registered in my groggy brain that it had to be Uncle Jake. I heard him say, "Marc!" Before I could answer him, the noise hit me like a freight train. Clang, 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 clang. It was the garbage can and the broomstick again. Okay, I'll get up. I must not have sounded very enthusiastic because Uncle Jake called me out. "What's wrong with you, Marc? Why weren't you down in the garage this morning for your workout?" "Well," I really did not know what to say. "Well, what?" Uncle Jack asked. "Well, I don't know," I told him. I'm tired." "Tired? What does tired have to do with anything?" "Well, I'm tired. I worked out all last week. I did jujitsu classes, plus we went to the river. And so with so much stuff going on, I'm just tired. I think I need some rest." If you need rest, you go to sleep earlier. You don't need sleep in, and you don't need workouts. Even if you can't perform at a high level, showing up and doing something is still 1,000 times better than not showing up at all. Well, it's not just that. This program is taking up all my time. I'm getting tired of doing so much. Maybe I could just get the chance to relax and watch some TV sometime. I could use a little freedom to do what I want. My argument seemed to make sense in my head. Shouldn't I relax a little bit? A little TV can't be that bad, right? I just wanted a little freedom. Uncle Jake sat and looked at me. He wasn't mad, but his face looked like he almost felt sorry for me. Like I didn't know anything about anything. "Well, we all want freedom, Marc. All of us. That is what I want in my life. That is what my friends and I fought for overseas. Freedom is the best thing in the world, but freedom isn't free. If you want true freedom in life, you have to be disciplined." Do you know what discipline is, Marc? I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought I had an idea. Doesn't discipline mean you follow the rules? That's one kind of discipline, Uncle Jake said. But it isn't as simple as just following the rules people give you. The most important part of discipline is following rules that you set for yourself. It is doing things you might not always feel like doing, things that make you better. Then Jake started getting really intense. "Listen, if you want freedom from being bullied at school by Kenny, you have to have the discipline to go to jiu-jitsu class and learn the skills to defeat him. If you want freedom from ridicule when you do pull-ups or push-ups or sit-ups at school, you have to have the discipline to train so that you can do them. If you want the freedom to swim in the water and enjoy your school trip, you need the discipline to overcome your fear of the water and learn how to swim. What about school? Do you want to be free of being stumped on tests and not knowing the answer to questions in class? Then you need the discipline to study and learn the material that teach you. When you get older, you're going to want financial freedom. That means having enough money to do what you want without worrying about it. The only way you are going to get financial freedom is by having financial discipline, by saving money and not wasting it on things you don't need. And all that discipline starts with getting up early in the morning. And I told Uncle Jake, well, I'm up now. I know you are. But you are up only because I woke you up. I made you get up. That's called imposed discipline. When someone else makes you do what they want you to do. What you need is called self-discipline. That is when you take control of yourself. When you push yourself. When you make yourself do the hard things that need to get done. That is what gives you freedom. Does that make sense to you? I think it does. You need to do better than that. Think it does. You need to understand. Explain to me what you think self-discipline means. Ooh, I was nervous because I wasn't 100% sure I understood, but it did make sense to me. So I figured I would give it a try. And it's not like I had much of a choice anyway, with Uncle Jake staring at me, waiting for an answer. I think it means this, Uncle Jake. We all want freedom in life. We want to be able to do what we want. We want to live free, but in order to get freedom, we have to work for it. Work hard. We have to earn that freedom. Freedom requires discipline. So even though sometimes discipline seems like it's trapping you and making you do things that you don't want to do, discipline is the thing that will set you free. So I guess discipline equals freedom. That's right, Mark. Perfect. Discipline equals freedom. So let's get up and get to work. Is that what keeps you motivated, Uncle Jake? I asked, wondering how he stays so fired up all the time. Motivated, Uncle Jake replied. I don't worry about motivation because motivation comes and goes. It's just a feeling. You might feel motivated to do something and you might not. The thing that keeps you on course and keeps you on the warrior path isn't motivation. It is discipline. Discipline gets you out of bed. Discipline gets you onto the pull-up bar. Discipline gets you to grind it out in jiu-jitsu class. If you do those things only when you are motivated to do them, you might do them only 50% of the time. Sure, it's nice when motivation is there, but you can't count on motivation. You have to rely on personal discipline, the discipline that you develop. Like you said, discipline equals freedom. Got it? Yes, Uncle Jake, I do. Good. Then let's go down to the garage and get busy. And we did just that. This is awesome. I love this. I love the way he writes it, and I love the fact that he has Uncle Jake there, who's a tried and proven warrior and knew what it took to have the discipline to do the work that he had to get done. And he was right on the front line and getting after it and fighting for the rights to be free, to do what we want to do. And he's sharing this knowledge with Marc and pouring into Marc his discipline. And Marc is getting it, and he's striving to live it and learning extremely valuable lessons. So I thought this book was great. I wanted to share that with you. I know that was helpful, and I highly recommend this book. So again, you can purchase it, and I have a link that takes you right to where you can purchase it. And It's peterliciaga.com/warrior kid. Get the book, read it to your kids, and it's awesome. Okay, guys, with that, we're going to wrap it up. I think that's all I have for you today. And let's wrap it up with just help you guys know how to support the work. One thing you could do is obviously purchase the book, and I have the link because when you do purchase the book, that lets Jocko know that I'm helping help him support the work that he's doing by letting him know that I'm sharing about the book, A Warrior Kid. And so that's why I have the link, peterliciaga.com/warrior kid. Then it'll take you to where you can purchase the book. And that's my way of letting him know that, hey, I'm supporting the work they're doing. I love what you're doing. And I'm not only telling him that I love what he's doing, keep it up, and I want more of it, but I'm actually sharing it because, of course, you purchase the book, you get the book, you get this great stuff right over here, and you also support the work that he's doing. Let me put this right here in my water so you guys can see that. So support the work there. Support the work that people are doing in the community, and share this. Share the work that people are doing. Share the work that people are doing in your community, and also in your in the world. If people say things to you or share things that resonate with you, that motivate you, that educate you, that they're doing this great stuff, share it. If you're on the social networks, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are, share the link. Share the link to this podcast if you're inspired by this. If you go to the book, share about the book, please share it. Okay, that's a great way to support the work that's being done. And it's also share it with your friends, your family members, and they benefit from this work. If you get value in it, share that with them. They'll get value in it. Another thing you can do is to join a martial arts program. And I've been doing it for 47 years, and I'm doing it for such a long time, and I'm not doing it less. I train every single day, and I train hard. If you follow me, you know I train hard in martial arts every day. From teaching it, I teach, 6 days a week, and I train myself from jiu-jitsu to the kicking and the punching, 6 days a week as well. Let you guys know that I see extreme value in martial arts. It teaches you discipline, and discipline, as we learned from Jocko's book, from Uncle Jake, that discipline equals freedom. And so get discipline, martial arts to do it. And of course, if you're in Mount Laurel and you don't know where to go, start at our school, Dinoto Karate. Go to dinotokarate.com, make an appointment, come in, try it for free. And of course, we'll have a beginning program for you to start it out and try it out, get a uniform, and get into it, deep into it, so you can see what it does. And if it's not for you, there's other schools out there. If you don't, if you want to get to the ground and maybe do jiu-jitsu and get more down on the ground, you like that. If you're a wrestler, if you just like the physicalness of that and the groundwork there, I have a school you can go to. I go to McHugh BJJ, and go there. Just type in McHughBJJ.com and find out the program there, and get a free trial there and join their intro program and check it out for a couple of weeks and find out how you can get discipline using that. But get into a martial arts program. There's great teachers out there, and find one and become disciplined, and then get your family into it. I would always push that parents start. Now, a lot of parents, of course, we have a lot of students that enroll their kids first, and their kids are doing it, and then we have parents that come on board because they see the value, and they get on board, or they watch their kids train, and then they take what they hear on the floor and they apply it to what they're doing in their lives. Some of them started going to the gym. Some of them changed their lifestyle from changing what they eat to doing these fitness programs, and they're doing it consistently because they're hearing about discipline. They're hearing and they're being shared this knowledge, and they're taking it and they're actually applying it and executing it in their own lives, which is pretty awesome. And so look for a martial arts program for you and your family and get in. So that's one way that you can support the community. And what we need more of in every community are more black belts, more martial artists that train to black belts, make the commitment to black belts, and they think like black belts with the discipline, get things done, and figure out what they need to get done, how they stay focused on what they need to stay focused on, lead the way in this, lead their children by example, being real role models of people who are disciplined and getting it done. That's what we need, and martial arts will do that for you. So that'll help out your community. Another thing is to let me know how I can help. And if there's things that you'd like me to share about, if any questions you might have, about martial arts, about, maybe being a parent. And of course, I'm a parent and a grandparent. I've made mistakes along the way, but there's a lot of things that I got right. And I'm reaping the benefits of that right now. And there's still challenges out there. I have a long way to go. And I have 44 years to 100. So I'm excited for the next 44 years to set the example. I'm learning a lot as a dad, as a grandparent, and hopefully one day I'm sure I'll be a great grandparent. And there are things that answers I might have to some questions that you might have. So ask those questions. Let me know how I can help. Okay, and with that said, you enjoy your day. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you spending this time with me and taking the time in your day. And I look forward to you next time. Share the knowledge. Stay happy. Life is too short to do anything other than that. Have a great day. Talk to you next time. Take care.